The PPL podcast. We are in Tampa, beautiful Tampa, Florida. I have a beautiful guest as well with me. He has the nicest smile we've had on so far, other than his owner, Chris. And that is Luis Estrada, #1 in the nation and a LA Beat performer. What's up, Luis?
Hi, Davis. Thank you for having me. It's really nice to be here.
We stole you from, you were doing the broadcast not too long ago, and I stole you from that because I needed you to be on this podcast. So I appreciate that.
Of course, I'm open. I'm open always.
I'm going to start off right away with a really tough question. Are you really upset that you didn't get drafted by the Miami Paddle Club?
Of course. I mean, I'm happy that I got picked. And actually, I know Chris from before the draft. So actually, he told me that if I was available, he was gonna pick me. So
And where did they pick you? What
six actually, right before you
right?
guys.
So you're on my list.
So
you know?
yeah,
So
actually, I knew that if I got all the way to the six, like I knew he was going to pick me. So I knew I was not gonna make it to Miami.
I guess the next question is obvious. How the hell did you make it all the way to 6? How did no one pick you before that?
I mean, there were some really good picks actually, like Jacobo Blanco. He counts. I think he counts as an international. Also Las Vegas picked an international right away. I think the first American that got picked it was Nico
Arkansas 4.
Yeah.
So that puts the Vegas picked a guy who is not even here, Sergio.
Yeah.
And number 2 was
Jacobo Manolin.
That's right. That's right. So then 3 was
Jacobo Manolin,
and then you.
Yeah.
So in reality, you were the #1 pick for at least for the Americans, right?
Yeah, actually, in this time it was Nico because they were looking for a right. I mean, actually, not because of that. They knew Nico from before Arkansas.
Yeah,
So the same case that happened with me with Chris. So they told Nico like if we get to you and we have you, then we're gonna pick you. And
that's happened. Incredible. So tell me a little bit about that experience, though. Like, so leading up to the draft, you know you're going to be a top 7 pick, or at least you're hoping you are, and you know someone's picking you. How'd that feel? Like, not like we are here now and we're playing, so it's a different feeling. But back then, how did that feel knowing that you were going to get drafted?
Honor, like I mean, you never know until you finally get picked. Like even if they tell you, yeah, we're going for you, you never know until they call your name. So I was really, really excited and really humble. I mean, I was super thankful for Chris and for the coach for Diego because they really believed in me.
Yeah, and so tournaments were kind of going on through that draft and after. You were for sure in the top 5 at the draft, but then you were recently ranked #1 in the nation. Tell me about how does that feel?
I mean, it feels great. It feels like it makes everything that I'm doing pay. I mean, everything paid off. Yeah. Everything all the work that I'm putting and all the time that I'm spending traveling, playing, training, and missing a lot of things, missing family birthdays and stuff, just traveling, and it's worth it. I'm really happy.
Is paddle a full-time job for you?
I mean, I want to. Right now, it's still not. We have a tennis academy in Orlando. Actually, we have 6 courts in Orlando with my dad. And also we run the Lake Nala Golf Country Club with Calvin. That's where I grew up playing tennis.
That's amazing. Yeah. I guess it's an interesting thing to talk about too. First of all, I apologize. We got lots of loud noise in the background because we got a match going on behind us, a very crucial match, a third set match. We'll get into that stuff a little bit later. But tell me a little about background for you. Was it tennis first?
Yeah, it was tennis. It was tennis since I was 3 years old. And actually, I didn't start playing paddle until a year and a half ago.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, I didn't. We never had courts in Venezuela. We did in the capital in Caracas.
Yeah.
But in Valencia, we didn't have courts, and it was tennis all my life. I was gonna play pro, then college, then something with the asylum that I was in. I couldn't. I had to pick whether to study as an international or stay with my asylum. Now I'm a resident, so I picked that way. Otherwise, I would have played college for sure.
And what drew you into paddle? Was it because it clearly wasn't that popular at the time?
For sure. Actually, I knew Marcos since I don't know 2018 around that. The commissioner.
Marcos Del Pilar.
Yeah, and actually he was always telling us like, no, Padel is coming. You gotta go and play here in SVB because they have the courts. But it was too far away, so I was like, no, I'll wait until you have courts here in Orlando. And actually, he saw me playing one day. I think it was my first day. And he said like, you should be playing. You should be actually thinking.
He noticed something.
Yeah, he noticed something right away. And actually, the next weekend I was getting certified to be a paddle coach because I really wanted to get involved.
That kind of explains his excitement toward you. I know that when you got that #1 ranking, he was the first to post something, right?
Yeah, yeah, he was.
That support must feel great.
I mean, yeah, he's been my number one support, and I mean, the fact that I play paddle and not tennis in the paddle court is
Yeah.
because of him. Otherwise, I would be another tennis player lost in the court.
Right, right. All right, so let's fast forward. So you get drafted. There's a little bit of downtime before we get to play these first matches. So what was weekend #1 like for you? The experience overall.
Actually, it was I hope on the court right away because I knew the player that we were gonna get. I knew that Seo was coming to Los Angeles, so I knew I was gonna be playing on the right side, which I never do. I usually play on the left.
Yeah.
I always play on the left. So as soon as that happened, I hop on the court and start trying to learn all the rebounds, like all the different spins, and try to make the best out of it.
And let's talk about him because that's a legend. You're playing with a legend, right?
With a legend, yeah.
So how did you find out about that?
I mean, as soon as I got drafted, I knew that before that he was coming because
Right.
I had a, I mean, I
Because
had
they kept it tight-lipped to us,
yeah,
right?
no, I know like from way before, like we had a conversation with Chris, like talking about it, and he told me like he's coming. I was like, whoa, I would love that, like to play with him, just for the type of person that he is, not only in paddle but also for the community right now. He's actually the commentator, and everybody can relate to him. Like he's always explaining and giving tips to people. So
Mm.
actually, he's super known right now, just because everybody likes to listen to him.
He's got a great personality as well, right? And
Yeah,
he's a good teacher of the game and a really good ambassador for the game.
correct.
And I think a lot of the teams have gone that route, right? Miami, for example, with Marta Morera.
Yeah.
That's just, the female version.
Yeah, the
Like
female was yeah, exactly, and she's amazing.
she's essentially coaching. I stay out of the way,
Of
if you
course,
can imagine.
what can you tell her?
So weekend #1. Let's talk about the matches. Let's talk about the results. Was there any nerves playing in the first match?
No, actually, no. I think one tournament got that nerve out of me in Miami, where there was a lot of people watching. I think that was the first time I was like, okay, this is gonna happen.
And
So
tennis gave you that vibe
yeah,
too, right?
exactly.
You play,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. And actually, we played really well, but we fought in the third set against Cancun.
Did you only play once in the first weekend?
No, we play against Cancun, and then we play against Arkansas, maybe.
Is it Arkansas that you played?
Yeah, we lost the women's. We won. Yeah, it was the first weekend because Peter was here. Peter
That's
Alonso.
right. Everything's kind of blending in together,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like the teams are being forgotten. It's so competitive, and I want to get into that. I actually want that to be kind of the main focus in this podcast is to talk about how competitive this league has been so far.
It's been amazing actually because I'm always with Marcos, always talking about it. Like we were like, okay, hopefully it's a show for the people to watch because we didn't know if the North American players were gonna be at the level
Right,
to
right.
hang on with the internationals, and
Right.
actually it's been amazing. Like the level, it's been super entertaining, super close, and it don't even get me started with the mixed match. Like it's going always to the last.
So did you play mixed matches, both matches in weekend #1? Both.
No, the second one. The second one is like Arkansas. We lost in the against Cancun 6-4 in the third or something like that
Right.
in the women's, and then in the men's we lost same thing 6-3 or 6-4 in the third.
Third sets.
Third
Third
sets.
sets. That's so tough. And I had you guys. Let me ask you first. When you were looking at the other rosters, did you have an idea of? Were you able to sort of look at them and say, "Oh, that team's going to be pretty good. That team's going to be pretty
Yeah.
good." I think every team had that, and players did that. How
Yeah.
did you kind of rank out the teams? I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but
No, I'm super open about it. I think that you guys had a huge advantage with Marta because she's over all the women's by far, so she's always gonna force a mixed match. So
right, right.
I think you guys are there top three or top one, like for sure. And then everything evens out. I think everything evens out into Toronto.
It does, yeah,
I think
it does.
everything evens out in Toronto. The guys and the girls are doing an amazing job, even though they don't have an international player on both. They're doing amazing. They're fighting every match. But yeah, like everything I will tell you is even out.
If you look at the standings, and we do it all the time, it's amazing to see. So I had pegged you guys the LA Beat, 1, 2, or 3. That's sort of where I pegged you based on, especially not just your international players, but I was high on you. I
Yeah.
thought you were an amazing player.
Yeah.
I thought your women were great. But that's just how competitive things are. When you go into a third set, it's anyone's match.
Yeah, no, so many things happen for us. Danny, or female international, she pulled her calf in the first match,
Yeah.
so we were not counting on that because she's in really good
So she
shape,
couldn't play the mixed.
and she couldn't play the mix. So I mean, everything started like crumbling, but nothing we can do. That's the competition. Like everything happened.
And the PPL Cup, which everyone wants to hold up, that's a semifinal and a final. That's the top 4 teams that make it in there, and 3 teams do not. I don't want to bet who the top 3 teams are that don't, because it's like I look at the bottom of the standings, and other than Toronto, you guys are just above them.
Yeah.
Your record suggests that you're going to be there, but you guys could just as easily run the table for the next few matches, and then you're right in that.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the bad part is that everybody that we're gonna be on the mix, we've lost to. So if it comes to the head-to-head matchup, like we're gonna stay down. Hopefully we still have a chance, which I think
You got to beat up on the Miami Paddle Club tomorrow.
we have to, and then we will depend on Vegas. I would think so.
Right, and then you have, like anyone, you only have one match next Saturday.
Yep.
Who's that against?
That's against Las Vegas.
That's the Vegas match. We played Vegas today, and my heart rate is still not quite down enough.
It was an amazing match. I was commentating that one. It was amazing.
Give me your thoughts on that, because from where I am, I have a different outlook on it. I'm helping the team, but you're sitting there and you're commentating. So
yeah,
what did you think of the level of play overall?
no, for sure. I mean, basically, I was calling that Marta and Paloma they were gonna win, and I was also counting on Pablo and Guga winning.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though at the beginning of the match, I was commentating with Dave there that actually everything it could have been better for Miami if they had a different pattern of play.
Right.
Like they were repeating the same pattern, and JP was getting burned every time.
Right.
And actually, in the mix, I was surprised because it got really tight. What was the score at the end? 7-5.
In the tiebreaker?
No, the tiebreaker was a
10-8.
10-8. Yeah, so it was really tight. And
we were down in the tiebreaker too.
And that's the thing. Like from inside, you feel that you're doing everything possible, but there were some things from outside that I think that I don't know. You guys could have done better to win. Is your point?
So go through that, because that's really fascinating, and we haven't really had that perspective on the podcast. You're talking about pattern of play, and maybe specifically with Jose, they were like some of the things that were going on. So kind of talk to the audience a little bit about what you saw there.
Yeah, because I mean, and nothing is not for because of Jose or because of JP. It's because it can happen to anybody. Like they start picking on you.
Yeah.
So when they start picking on you, the first reaction that you have is start sending lobs and you start to get out. I mean, get the ball, get more time, and breathe. But actually, sometimes that's the opposite. That's exactly what they want you to do, and they're just waiting on that. So that's when you gotta actually put the jumpsuit of that you're gonna work. You're gonna be working a lot. You're gonna be playing low a lot, and actually for Jose, he will have to play down the line a lot.
That's right.
So that the ball goes back to Ruben, because other than that, the ball is gonna stay cross court with JP.
And it's so interesting that you bring that up, because that's what was being talked about on the bench, specifically with Ruben. Ruben was trying to, like, we knew what was going on. We know that JP, I like that. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
JP, as Felipe was going to get the bulk of the balls. No different than Paloma will be with Marta.
Exactly. Yeah, same thing.
Right. So and that's strategy. Smart. But I agree, and Ruben was kind of talking about that. Is we got to stop doing what they want us to do.
Yeah.
You got to change it up, because the strategy isn't working. It was just a repeat. To get Ruben involved, it was so difficult.
No, it is. Like even for me, sometimes to get Seba involved is difficult because they're going everything to me. So that's when we gotta find patterns, we gotta find solutions, and that's all applies to every match.
So if you were coaching today, you would have been probably talking about the same things that they were. They just couldn't.
They can execute it. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's easy to see it from the outside, but in the inside, you might say like, I cannot put the ball there, like, so I have to go the other way. I don't want to give them a free point.
Yeah, and the lobs, and I actually found too that the more lobs that were being thrown up, because once that lob goes up, I get it. The team may come forward, and there could be, but they're going right back to JP, and then they're lobbing JP, and then it's they're waiting for the right lob and to smash and to take advantage. But that's what's so cool about paddle.
Yeah,
is I actually find it to be more strategic than tennis at times.
No, well, way more. I would say. I mean, even though tennis is also like a chess match, like everybody has good shots, everybody has the same movement. It just comes who's a little bit smarter at the right time. But here, I would say even more. If you're not anticipating what's going to happen, the point is over, right?
Yeah, the anticipation is probably at the highest of level. Tennis, we talk about a lot, is you can have a big serve, you get a short ball, and then you can put it away.
Yeah.
That's a strategy.
Yeah.
But it's the serve. The idea of serving underhand in paddle is so cool because almost every point begins.
Yeah, no, every point basically you're starting a rally. Like it's not like you're putting it away right away.
Right. It's rare that a returner is just missing.
Yeah, actually, that's why the first serve is so important. Also, because if you're starting with a second serve, most of the time they're gonna be attacking you already with a lob.
Right.
So that's why the percentages of first serves here, even though they're not that aggressive, they still matter.
And one of the other things that we like to talk about a lot, and I think this is really interesting from the perspective of sports. There's not a lot of sports that include women like paddle does.
Correct.
And the way of the world now is it's obviously important. And I don't think anyone watching this sport is sitting there thinking, oh, I can't believe I'm watching another women's match or watching a mixed match.
No.
Not based on what we've seen in this tournament.
Yeah, no.
Is there another sport that you can think of other than maybe tennis that includes women like paddle does?
No, I wouldn't think about it. Actually, I'm super happy with the PPL that they actually consider the women and they're actually taking care of them because they can be as entertaining as the men.
And it's the deciding match.
Correct.
So to win a match, you if you go into that mix,
yeah,
it's a woman and a man, and that. And I know this because I have an 11-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
I have a 4-year-old daughter, or 4-month-old daughter, and I got lots of kids.
Yeah.
But the 11-year-old is watching this, and it's inspiring for her.
Oh, she wants to play. She wants to.
She wants. We've been out 1,000 times since we've been here, and she's never played it before, right? So that's like almost a responsibility for all of us to do that.
That's exactly Marco's message. Like it's our responsibility to actually inspire the next generation. Otherwise, nobody's gonna do it.
Do you have any kids?
No, not yet. Not yet.
But you're married.
Yeah, I'm married and soon for sure.
How long have you been married for?
A year and a half, but we've been together 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
So what, buddy? What took you so long? Did you not get the memo? It's like a 4 or 5 year period.
No, we started when I was 15 and she was 14. I'm 24.
Oh my
she's
God.
23. Yeah, so we've been together for our entire life.
We could do a podcast just on that.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
so cool. I've been married now for a while to my beautiful wife Sarah, who I've never mentioned on the podcast. So I think taking advantage of that now.
My beautiful wife Nabella, for sure.
Oh, nice! Look at this. This is so good. Going back to tomorrow, you're gonna play against the Miami Paddle Club.
Yeah.
Your women are gonna go on first. Do you know the rosters yet?
Yeah, I think it has to be Jordi and Danny.
That's an excellent lineup. And
yours is Paloma.
It's Marta for sure, but Brittany's in the back pocket as well, Dubin. So we're kind of trying to use both of them to get a feel with Marta.
Good. Yeah.
Brittany had a lot of success with Marta in weekend number 1.
Yeah.
Paloma is Paloma.
Yeah.
I mean, Paloma, like we just love her to death.
Yeah.
But Brittany is.
No, she's really good.
And Brittany, as a second round pick, I was high on her from the beginning, right? I really liked her personality. I really liked her. She's super competitive.
Yeah.
And then the men go on. I'm assuming it's you.
Yeah. And Seba, yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, and then you're Jose JP.
Yeah.
And Ruben Rivera.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's gonna be epic.
It's gonna be a good one, yeah.
Any predictions? I'm joking. You're not gonna. Your prediction is you
predict the mix. I don't know which way.
And who will play the mix? Will you play the mixed?
No, we don't know. That one actually, this time we might change, but I don't know.
Do you think that's something that's important to not decide until you're there based on how everyone's feeling?
I mean, now with I think the rule changed, so I think you can make the adjustment when the match.
You have to be able to,
yeah, because otherwise,
because look what happened to you with the cramping.
Yeah,
with your team, like you can't. We can set the roster and the mixed team, but you have to be open to that change.
Correct. Yeah, 100%. Like other than that, you're limiting. Like imagine somebody has to forfeit because of that.
Right. So where does this go from here? So we got the PPL Cup that ends just in a few weeks. It's going to be amazing. CBS Sports. Yeah. This has been on YouTube. I know the popularity is growing. What's the next step? So obviously season number 2.
Yeah.
And we got a lot more teams being added, so a lot more competition. Yeah. What do you think about the Daddy Yankee thing with Orlando?
Amazing in my city, Orlando. It's amazing. I mean, hopefully he builds a club as soon as possible so we get more courts in Orlando. because we need them. We're missing courts, and I think that's the only thing preventing the sport of growing is actually the courts. Without courts,
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell them, yeah, go and play, and then they go, okay, where?
Because it becomes, even in Miami where there's a few more courts,
Yeah,
it's still it's hard to get courts because they don't have enough.
but that's amazing because you already have an audience. You have people like they want to play, but then other places, I don't know.
And is it would you say in Orlando that it's growing?
I know for sure. Like right now in Orlando, to get a court, they let you book 2 days in advance. If you're not booking at midnight,
Yeah.
you have no course after 6 p.m.
And is it a good equal amount of men and women?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, actually, and a lot of people they're thinking about putting projects and stuff because there's so many people playing, interested in playing.
We were talking before the podcast a little bit, Marcos in Spain. You know, when you have 4 and 5 and 6 year olds with paddle rackets in their hand, it's inevitable.
Yeah,
It's no in Canada, kids are on skates and have hockey sticks in their hand
yeah.
when they're a month old. You know, so that leads to something. That's where we need to get to in the US.
And I think it's like a snowball, like it's just growing and growing.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna stop. It's the snowball effect because for sure the sport's gonna get to Olympics.
Yeah.
Once that happens, I'm not only thinking about here in the US. I'm thinking about also China. China, as soon as they know that it's an Olympic game, it's a medal for
All
them.
of Asia.
Yeah, all of
All of
Asia is gonna
Asia.
be like going crazy about it. So
And I think, have they announced that it's official? Are they-
no, and it's gonna be the trial sport for 2024, and it's
Right.
already in the European Games as a sport. Pilot.
Have you gone to Europe to play?
No, we're thinking. I'm thinking that I'm gonna go either this summer or before the next season, for a month or two.
Just to play some tournaments and stuff?
No, to train.
To
All
train?
the level is there.
Buddy, sky's the limit for you, huh?
We're just getting started. Yeah.
But your main gig right now is in Orlando and running the tennis club.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, for sure. And of course, I will little by little. I'm trying to push to be able to train full time. Like that makes a difference. Like actually, players that you have here. I mean, Seba is really retired, but he came back. But Mati Almadas, Ruben, Jacobo Blanco, Peter Alonso, like they live of this. Like they actually are professionals full time.
Yeah, that's the goal, and it has to be the goal.
Yeah, yeah.
Because to have, like, for example, like a Paloma Cortina, she's flying out on Sunday night to get back to her day job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that shows a level of commitment that I think is incredible.
Yeah.
That all of you are doing. You're all doing this.
Yeah, we're all doing it. And actually, Paloma in the same situation as I am. Even though her club is not letting her go all the time, if like it's tough for us to having to travel to spend all this money because the prize money, even though there's more this year,
Yeah.
last year there was almost nothing, but we were putting the work because we knew this was coming. We know that the sponsors are gonna come eventually, so we're putting the work because
It's just a matter of time before people invest.
yeah,
Because once Americans invest in something, it goes big.
it goes big for sure.
So
Agree.
this is the start of that, right? This is going to be the beginning of it. It's not going to be the end of it.
Yeah.
It's going to grow. I like your snowball analogy.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
It's going to get huge. Buddy, it was amazing talking to you today.
No, thank you
we
for having
forgot
me.
we forgot to start this podcast the way we're supposed. We usually have Marcos on here,
Oh yeah.
and he does. We count him down and do a big vamos.
Oh, we can do it.
So we're not going to start with that, but we can do a nice ending of a vamos.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to count us down 3,
Yeah,
2,
for
1,
sure.
and we're going to do it up big time. Okay?
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Vamos!